Zel Boy Army, welcome to another spicy one on the channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about one of the most important things that matters really when it comes to FIFA. This is something that honestly you could apply a lot of it to life, I guess, but obviously for the sake of this video, we're going to be mainly talking about in terms of FIFA, and it is mentality. Mentality in FIFA is one of the few things that every year, without doubt, is vital. And you're probably thinking, well, what exactly does that mean, actually, Zal? You can say that, but give us a bit more like substance. What actually do you mean when you talk about mentality in FIFA? And obviously, that's going to be the main point of this game, well, game video. So, mentality can come down to a lot of different things on the game in terms of what it affects. One of the main ones could just be purely in terms of enjoying the game. Enjoyment, for most people playing this game, probably 99.9%, should be the number one thing. And honestly, for someone like me who loves video games, I know if I'm enjoying a game, I'm going to play a lot better. And it's one of these, how do you actually enjoy the game? For me, there's a few tips on FIFA I could give for that. It might be things like use players I like, not play to a certain meta in a certain way, I guess. Like, and by this, I mean, I wouldn't just not hit finesse shots ever, unless you really hate doing that. But like, don't necessarily just play a formation just because you've been told it's 100% the best in the game. Don't use don't have to use Neymar and Mbappe just because they're what you want. In using players you like, finding formations, different ways of playing is probably going to make you enjoy the game a lot more and also in turn play better. Most people watching this, if not all, are probably not going to be pro players who have to get absolutely everything out of their team. So for me, that is a starting point, I would say, for mindset and mentality when it comes to FIFA. Try and actually enjoy the game. It can be hard sometimes, but if you can do that, you're going to play a lot better. I know when I've been my best at FIFA, whether it used to be when I competed as a pro or since I've retired and just started trying to focus on enjoying the game a bit more. But when I was a pro as well, the best I ever played was when I was relaxed, enjoying the game, and it helped me to get more out of it. Naturally, your body reacts when you get stressed. Different hormones, chemicals will go through your body that just start making you tighten up, not thinking as quick. You're naturally just not going to play as well. So one of the things that can help you enjoy the game more as well and just help with your mindset mentality is taking breaks, doing little things that make you more comfortable. So for me, I've always been pretty good at just sitting and playing the game non-stop. Back when Weekend League used to be 40 games, I was able, a bit like a machine to be honest, just sit there and play 40 games in a row. Hardly anyone can do that. I guess I'm a bit weird like that, but for me, that was just something I was able to do. For most people, they can't. If you find that the game starts to get on your gears a bit more, grind your gears a bit more, start to get a bit frustrated, take a break. What tends to happen when people play too much, they start to burn out, they get tired, they start making stupid mistakes that they normally wouldn't, and this in turn leads to more frustration. The more frustrated you get, the more tired you get, the worse you play. And obviously, no one really enjoys losing and playing bad. And it's all about perspective as well. So when it comes to mindset in FIFA, what I would say is try have a reasonable perspective. Don't go, if you're, say, getting ranked 2 in Weekend League, don't expect every single game you ever load up that you're going to smash your opponent. Just the same as if you're a pro player playing against pros every game, don't expect you're going to win every game. Get into a reasonable perspective. Try and improve from there. Try and learn. Try and look at your mistakes, see where you're going wrong, and take that in turn to grow as a person and player on the game. Doing this will make a big difference. One of the things that I've noticed that a lot of people do, they get frustrated at the game and they end up selling their team, changing formation, changing tactic, and it hurts them. They end up playing a lot worse. So one of the big tips I would give is try your absolute best. Just move my camera back a bit. I think I'm a little bit zoomed in on my face here. Try and make sure when you try new players, new teams, formations, you at least give them a fair crack of the whip. For me, I change quite a bit because I'm trying to make content and use different players for fun. But if you're trying to, one, not waste your coins, which is a big thing on FIFA that people do, and two, trying to make sure that you get the most successful results, keeping consistent is going to make a big difference. Consistency is probably all the way from pros down to lower ranked players, I guess, on FIFA, one of the biggest things. Consistency in any competitive thing is going to make a big difference. And if you're constantly chopping and changing your team, you are not going to be very consistent. That's pretty straightforward, I think. everyone would really agree on that. So make sure that you're doing everything you can to get consistency. Don't just get annoyed at the game and sell your player as soon as you lose a game. Don't see a player make one mistake and think he's off. There's certain things that people do that they get into bad habits, and one of the ones I see a lot is blaming the team, and they end up losing millions of coins in the space of a few months. The team gets worse, it makes it harder to compete. And there's also just the element of if you're familiar with your tactics, your team, your formation, all this type of stuff, you are going to play better because you know exactly how to play with them. One of the things I would say that can help as well is find things that make you comfortable when you're playing. So for me, I love listening to music in general in life. Listening to music when I'm playing FIFA helps me concentrate because it relaxes me more and allows me to play in a better way. Whereas for some people, listening to music might distract them. They might start listening too much to the lyrics, taking too much note in that, and not fully focusing. You have to find what works for you. Staying hydrated is important. I try and make sure I've got either some Beyond energy drink that Excel that our manager have worked with, or a lot of the time, because you can't just drink energy drinks all the time, drink some water. It is literally just science that if you're not hydrated, your body can't work as well. It's not quite the same anymore now that weekend league's not as much of a marathon. It's a lot quicker than it used to be. It is possible for a lot of people to play 20 games in one sitting compared to what it used to be. But even then, if you're going to play for hours on end, if you're not hydrated, you will start to see a decline. And that's another thing that's just going to start pissing you off if you're not playing as well. Staying hydrated is important. For me, having the right setup is important. This is maybe a bit more of a hardcore one, but for me, if I'm not playing on a gaming monitor, it affects me. So I like to play on a gaming monitor. The reason I'd recommend gaming monitors compared to TVs is because gaming monitors are going to be able to give better response time. You can see the whole screen a lot better. So I definitely would recommend them. Having a comfy chair to play in. For me, if I'm not playing in a comfy chair, then I already straight away notice that it's starting to frustrate me. Comfortable position, all these type of things. Playing with the right type of controller, making sure your settings are right. There are lots of different things in and out of the game that you can affect that change the way you play based on how it affects your mindset. If you get into good habits, good mindset, mentality, what a finish, by the way, that was by Zidane. It's going to be a big difference. Probably the last thing I'd like to say about this is the type of thing you could do hours on end of videos about this type of stuff and really go in depth. But one of the things that I'd like to point out is FIFA is based around football. Random stuff can happen in football. Obviously, it happens a lot more in FIFA than football, I guess. But you're going to have bullshit happen to you on FIFA. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. If you let that get to you, some of the things like kickoff goals, random bounces, team press, you are going to just end up playing worse, getting really frustrated, and it's going to make big differences in your gameplay. Try not let the game get to you. I say this as someone who quite often does get pretty pissed off at the game, so I'm speaking from experience. Work on that. Try keep a calm head. It's going to make a big difference. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I appreciate your support as always. Keep it spicy, and I hope to see you in the next one.